Fantastic. Hey, everybody. I'm super happy that you're all here. I'm super excited for the faces that I can see. And I'm super excited for everybody who's also here, but who I can't see. So, hey, everybody. And hey, everybody who's here live. And hey, everybody who will be coming and watching this later on. So, I'm so excited for today's topic, how to make money from your empathic gifts so that you can create a free, I didn't add that in the text, but I'm going to add that now, so that you can create a freedom lifestyle that you truly want to live and have a great impact in the world at the same time. Who is excited for that topic? I see hands. Amazing, amazing. I love that. And this is so important that we start to understand, especially as highly sensitive women, if we feel that we are meant for a life in freedom, if we feel that we are meant to live a big life where we are having the kind of house that we want to have, where we are having the kind of like financial freedom that we want to have, we need to understand how to actually make money in a way that feels amazing to our heart. Who has been ever in a position where you made okay money, but it didn't feel in alignment with your heart? Many people have. And for me, it was always that feeling that I saw that it was possible to make a lot of money, but it never felt right to me. Like all the different options I looked at, and especially a traditional working life, it never really resonated. And every time I was working in a traditional job, I felt trapped. And I just knew I'm not supposed to be here. My heart was longing for freedom, and my heart was also longing for making a difference, even though I didn't know that I was an empath, even though I didn't know I was a highly sensitive person. Like, I had no idea about that. I just knew that I was different. Whoever felt different? Some people. Yes. And the interesting thing when I started, like the more I started to understand my own soul, the more amazing women I drew and attracted into my reality, I realized that, oh, we are so many women that are the same. We feel the same way. We are not the same, but we feel the same way. We feel that we are very different. And the empathic skills that we have, they are amazing. And this is not a coincidence that we have ended up on Earth with empathic skills. So this morning, when I was starting to prepare for this live call, I was writing down, like, what are the really important steps? And then I figured out that, from my understanding and my point of view, there are 11 really important steps. And I see that, Michaela, I see that you have pen and paper. Really good. I was going to encourage everybody to bring pen and paper, to really write the topics down, and to also write down whatever comes to your own mind. And if you have questions, you can ask them in the chat. And if we have time, I will get back to them. And otherwise, I will get back to them in a later video later on. So if we haven't met before, because I see that there are new faces here and I see new names, even though I don't see your faces with some of you. So I know that there are new women here, which is amazing. So my name is Linda, and I am the founder of a program called the Master Manifestor Program. And the Master Manifestor Program is really, I told Anna earlier today, who's here now as well, I said, it's like my baby. It's really my baby that has come through me. It's an amazing program that teaches highly sensitive women to take their power back and to really manifest the life that we want to have. Because I know that the more of us women who are good-hearted, the more power we gain in our lives, the more good we will do in this world. And this is why I think it is so important that we understand how much power we actually have with our empathic gifts and skills that we have come to Earth with. So shall we start to break this down? Let's start with number one. And the number one thing that is so important when we want to start to make money from our empathic gifts is to understand our own intention, our why. Why do we want to do that in the first place? Because if we are running around trying to achieve something, but we don't know why, we are going to be easily distracted and we're going to give up. But when we know our why, when we have that burning desire within ourselves, that desire, that intention, the why, our why, it will keep us going. So that is super, super, super important that we know our why. You can feel that you kind of know your why already. You have a big desire in your heart. That could be freedom, or that could be a big desire that you really want to make the world a better place, or something else. Who feels that you have something within yourself amazing, wonderful. And many times when we are feeling frustrated in our life, it is because we have a big why inside ourselves, but maybe we can't really see it because there are blockages in the way. But the more we understand that why, the easier the rest of the process will be. So let's jump into step number 2. We need to understand what our soul has come to earth to do. Because if we don't know what our soul has come to earth to do, we are trying to manifest a life from just our head. And that is going to feel frustrating many, many, many times. And when we can start to understand what our soul had actually planned for us in this life, it's like this big, massive awakening that happens when we understand that. It's like a revolution in our own reality, and we realize that, oh my goodness, I am meant for so much more in this life. And I know that some of you amazing women who are on this call right now, you are already a member of my program, and you have already seen your soul's purpose, which is incredible, because then you have seen and you got to witness how much impact you're supposed to have on this planet. My belief is that each soul, we have come to earth for a reason. We all have a purpose. We all have different purposes. But most of the time, the women who are drawn to my work, they have a purpose of helping the world in this big transition that we are in, because we are in a big, massive, fat transition right now, where we are going from a world that has been in a lot of fear-based energy, and we are moving into a world of so much more light and so much more happiness and so much more heart-based connection, which is incredible. But in order for that to really happen, we need many souls that have come here. We need those souls to actually understand that, oh, I am here to make that big difference. So we need to understand it. We need to understand, what has my soul come here to planet Earth to do? So I know that most people who do come into my program, they are here to serve the planet in one way or another. And this is one of the first things that we do in the Master Manifestor program. Hey, Camilla. This is one of the first things that we are doing in the program. We realize what my soul has come here to do. Not my soul, but like each one of you, your soul. We realize what your soul has come here to do. And there is actually, therefore, I made a guarantee to the program as well. If you realize when you are doing the finding your soul's ideal life on Earth, when you do that hypnosis, if you understand that actually my soul's mission is not to help people, my soul's mission is not to make money from my empathic gifts, I give all the money back for the program, because then there's no reason to do the rest of the program, because my focus is to really help those women who are here to serve and to make the world a happier, healthier place. So when we understand, oh, amazing, so many women are coming in. Hello, Jessica, welcome. So the third thing that we want to do, after we now know what our why and we know what our soul is here to do, we want to activate our soul's gifts. So not only does the soul have a massive purpose, but the soul also has incarnated here to planet Earth with gifts. And this is an incredible process where I see so many of my clients, and I've seen this for myself as well, that there are so many lifetimes where in past lives, where we have helped so many people. And our soul has come to planet Earth right now with these amazing magical gifts, and we want to activate them. We want to activate them in this lifetime so that we can really start to use the uniqueness that our soul has come with. So that's step number 3. And number 4 is that we need to require a skill. So my amazing client, Sophia, who is actually here on the call, sorry for calling you out, Sophia, but we had such a magical experience of this. So Sophia worked with me before I used to take on private clients. I don't do that anymore, but Sophia started out as a private client of mine. And now she's doing the whole Master Manifestor program, and she's becoming a Master Manifestor hypno coach. So with Sophia, we saw that we found out what her soul was here to do. That was incredible. We understood that she's here to make a big impact on the world, and we activated her soul's gifts. And you started to help people with your soul's gifts, but you also felt a bit stuck in that, right? You felt that I need a bit more. So when I finally was ready to teach my own way of doing hypnosis and teach my Master Manifestor hypnosis technique, Sophia was like, I want to learn that. So as soon as Sophia required that skill, she could go, like, your process was so fast in how fast you now actually could go out and start to help people, because we had already activated her gifts, and now she could require a skill. So the skill is super, super important. And this is also what I saw that, and why I decided to add to the Master Manifestor training, that I actually nowadays teach women to become Master Manifestor hypno coaches, was because I saw that over the 7 years that I've worked in the field of helping people, nowadays it's only highly sensitive women, but before it was both men and women, and not only highly sensitive people. But I just found my tribe, and I just found, like, who do I resonate with the most? But I saw that 99% of everybody who came into my world, they wanted to make an impact themselves. So that was so powerful when I finally realized and worked through the fears that I had. When I finally realized that, actually I can teach my women a technique so that they can require that skill, and to do it fast. My understanding is that we don't need to go 2 years to school to learn a skill. We can require that skill fast, especially after we already have seen what our soul is here to do, and we have activated our soul's gifts. So when we are requiring that skill, we can start to make a difference in the world very, very fast. And this is definitely required if we want to make money from our empathic gifts. We need a way to actually help people and to transform people's lives. And the next thing, what normally happens after we have seen our soul's purpose, we have activated our gifts, we know our why, and we have required a skill, what many times happens is that massive fear kicks in. Massive fear of showing up in the world. It was already there before, but now, since we activated everything with the soul, the witch wound makes itself very, very visible. And I see so many people who are already coaches that are also finding their way into my world, and they are saying, like, I do already have a skill, but I am terrified of showing up. This is why this is so important to understand. Why are we terrified of showing up? And I see that many times the reason why we are terrified in showing up is because our witch wound is activated. And when I'm talking about the witch wound, this is So many of us, we have lived in past lives where we were victims of the witch hunt. People believe that we were witches. They called us witches. And I know that for so many women, we are terrified of showing up. And this is so important also for the purpose of making money from our empathic gifts. We need to heal this. And when we are healing this, not only is it going to help us to make money from our empathic gifts, but it's also going to make our lives so much better and so much more enjoyable when we know that we can actually be safe in showing up in this world. So healing the witch wound is really, really, really important. And that is about like a 90-minute to 2-hour process in healing the witch wound. That is within the Master Manifestor program, because I saw that that is such an important part of the journey. And then we have number 6, which is knowing that who you are and knowing that what you want in life, knowing that that is enough. So many of us, not only are we affected by the witch wound, but we're also affected by this belief that we're not enough. And when we have this belief that I am not enough, it's going to be terrifying for us to make any move. With the belief that I am not good enough, when that belief is triggered, it's going to do whatever it can to make us stay in the small little box. Who has ever felt a feeling that you're a bit terrified of taking your own way in life, and you feel this like pull to stay where other people want you to stay? I definitely used to be a victim of that. Thank you for sharing, Michaela and Sophia. I definitely used to be a victim of that. I even remember when I came to the understanding that I needed to go through a divorce. It was a beautiful marriage and there was nothing wrong, but I had started to do my inner journey and I had started to connect with my soul and I had started to make so many shifts in my life. And I realized that that relationship I was in, it was no longer in alignment with my highest good. So I needed to make a change. I needed to take my power back and I needed to walk my own path. And I so much remember the terrifying feeling I felt within. So not only was I terrified of hurting my ex-husband, but I was also terrified of being a failure or being a disappointment to everybody who was in the church witnessing me and my ex-husband say yes to each other. I specifically remember, this was a crazy story that I've written a book. It's not published yet, but it will come out later on once we know exactly how to, like, what exactly the purpose will serve for the book. So I'm going to add a few more things. But I know that this is a chapter in the book where I explain that we had 3 storages in our home that we lived in, my ex-husband and I. And in the basement, I had a chest of drawer that was very old, and it was from my childhood home. And in that chest of drawer, I had my old diaries that I had written from like late childhood to teenage years. And during my awakening process, when I went through this during like 2016 was the year when I did my big awakening. I went downstairs and I sat many times and I was reading my old diaries, trying to just make sense of my life and everything that I had been through. And when this feeling was so activated, when I realized that I need to leave this relationship, but all the terror came up in me, I went down to the basement one more time and I brought out one of my diaries. I had been looking in this diary like several days in a row and nothing happened. But this time, as I was so afraid of I'm not good enough, like if I leave, I'm not good enough. You know what happened? I take out the same diary that I had been taking out like a week every single day prior, and a letter falls out on the floor. This sounds like even like a crazy story, but this is true. A letter fell out on the floor. So I sat down and I was looking at the letter, and it was a letter from my mom that she had I had forgotten about that letter, but she had written that letter to me when I was 19 and I lived in London. And when I was living in London, my life was extremely dramatic. It was really like nowadays I focus on calmness and peace, but back in London, I was a drama queen. And it was a lot of drama going on in my reality at that time. And I really felt like a victim of circumstances. And I was attracting more and more and more to feel even more victimized. And at that point, my mom had written me a letter, and the letter said something along the lines of, Linda, whatever you decide to do in your life, remember that we love you and remember that we are always here to support you. That letter fell out on the floor when I realized that I needed to break up with my ex-husband. It fell on the floor. And as I said, I had forgotten that she wrote that letter to me so many years prior, but for some reason I had saved it in my diary, and now when I needed it the most, it fell down. Because the fear, of course, the fear of breaking somebody's heart was terrifying, but also the other fear, like I'm going to be a disappointment for everybody else. And there were so many times as well when I left, so I studied first of all to become a journalist. And when I decided I'm not going to be a journalist, it didn't resonate with me. I felt so much of that feeling that my parents didn't think I was it wasn't that they felt that I wasn't good enough, but it was my fear that what if they think that I'm not good enough? It's always our own projection of how we feel that other people will feel about us. So I know exactly that feeling, and it's being triggered within me so many times. And I'm still got to work on that belief at some points, because sometimes it's still being triggered. So the one, I am enough, is so important when we want to start to make money from our empathic gifts. And this is why this is such a big part of the Muscle Manifestor program as well, to understand and to really learn and to dig so deep in the understanding that we are enough, each one of us. But since childhood, this belief has been imprinted in us that what we want, that's another one, what we want is not available, but that we are not enough. But also, as I'm speaking about that, I'm going to add one more thing. We need to also understand, this is the second biggest belief that we humans have, which is the belief that what I want is not available. And if we believe that what I want is not available, we are going to do everything that we possibly can unconsciously, trying to destroy for ourselves. This is where a lot of self-sabotage come into the picture. And I think I can't remember what number I put on the self-sabotage. Yeah, I put that as number 9. Hold on, I'm gonna see. No, it was number 8. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. So we were on number 6, which was knowing that you are enough. And number 7 is to going from victim to the leading lady of your own life. And this also comes into the understanding that what we want is actually available to us, because when we have the belief that I can't have what I want, I really want to have it, but I can't have it, then we are going to feel so victimized in our reality. And this is why it's so important that we cure this belief and to understand that what you want is actually available to you. The only reason why you want the life you want is because your soul has planted that within you. And you are here right now on planet Earth to have this human experience, to go from where you are to where you want to go, and to heal everything that you need to heal and actually become that woman that you are meant to be. So that was number 7, to go from victim to the leading lady of your own life. And number 8 is to break through self-sabotage. Because as we are working on this journey of making money from our gifts, this is such a big transformational journey, especially for all the women that are like I used to be. We come from a traditional background. I didn't have any healers to look up to. That was just new for me. And I even thought I was terrified of becoming a spiritual person. I like my picture. I think I see Michaela, you're nodding. I think I'm gonna post one day in the Facebook group of my view, like how I saw spiritual people, because I had a very particular idea of what a spiritual person was. So I didn't really have anybody to look up to until I did. And when I did, when I started to see like, oh, being spiritual has nothing to do with, because I really thought that being spiritual, it meant that you had your hair in a certain way, and it meant that you had like big fluffy trousers, and it was really this stereotypical picture. And then I realized that actually it has nothing to do with that. It has much more to do with the values and who we are on the inside. And then knowing that we are enough actually means that we can get dressed in anything we want. And this is also a super important part of the journey. The more enough we know that we are, which I talked about the enoughness before, but the more enough we know that we are, the more of our personal style can actually come through. And so I needed to start to understand on my journey that for me to really want to make the big money and to really want to live a life in luxury, that was a part of my soul's expression. And I was supposed to take that to the world. And for other people, there are other things. But we need to, the more we understand we are enough, the more of our own expression can shine through. And that's also how we attract the tribe that we want to attract. So coming back to the self-sabotage, if we're going through this whole journey and we are activating our soul's power and we realize what our soul has come here to do, there are so many women in the Master Manifestor program through module 1, because it's such a big, massive activation that goes on in that, just the first module. And there are several modules, but just in the first module, and then the self-sabotage kicks in. Tiredness kicks in, frustration kicks in, this is not going to work for me kicks in, like all these things are kicking in. And this is, for me, whenever that happens for somebody, I'm like, perfect, this is perfect. It just means that what we are doing is working, because otherwise you would just feel numb. So when the self-sabotage kicks in, it's so important to have somebody to hold in our hand. So we are healing, and get help to heal the self-sabotage by holding one's hand who can actually guide us through that process. And this is why in the Master Manifestor program, I added that coaching element. Like every single week, we have live coaching, group coaching call, where everybody who is a member of the program, they know that they can always reach out and they can grab my hand because I have been through it, and I can help them through that process. This is such a critical part of the process. If we don't have that, many times what happens is that we stay very long in that self-sabotaging element. And that's not a place, even though it is a place of, or it's a sign of us really stepping into the next step in our life. But if we are staying in the self-sabotage, then we're just going to be more stuck. And before I knew how to handle this with clients, I actually witnessed some people's lives go worse after they activated themselves and after they realized, like, oh shit, I'm here to do so many big things. And at that point, like when I was green, when I didn't know so much, I didn't really know how to help them. So I kind of witnessed their life go worse. And I was like, what did I do? But now I know, because I learned from those people, and I learned thanks to them actually opening up and letting me help them more. When I started to realize how I could help them, I realized that this is just such an important part of the journey, the self-sabotage. We just need to be in an environment where we can get help through the self-sabotage. So yes, that was number 8. So now we have understood our why, we understand what our soul is here to do, we have activated our gifts, we have healed the witch wound, we have acquired a skill how to help people, we have started to understand that we are enough, we have went from victim into the leading lady of our own life, and we have gotten help to break through the self-sabotage. What else do we do? So number 9 is that we need to package our service. This is a big one. When I was trained in hypnotherapy, 2016, and since then I've developed my own techniques and everything, but my first training, the one thing that I was trained in was like to sell single sessions to people. Who has ever had the understanding that you sell your time? Like, oh, I'm going to work 1 hour. Michaela, yeah. So I work 1 hour and then I'm going to charge that price for that 1 hour. I'm going to do 1 session. I'm going to charge. If we want to really make a big, fat, massive impact in people's lives, and if we want to feel safe around our money, what we are charging for is transformation. This is a big shift. And I see, like, still till this day, I see some people that took the same training as me in 2016, which is like 7 years ago now. I see that they are still stuck in selling one-on-one session, and they are struggling so much because, like, there is a cap, there is a limit of how much time can we actually sell. We don't like, and especially as highly sensitive people, we need so much time. Many of us, we need so much time in recharging, meaning that we are not supposed to be out there doing session 8 hours a day. My maximum when I used to work with clients, or if I do like one-on-one sessions or something like that, and even like live calls, my maximum is 2 things a day. I don't do more than that, because after that I get drained. So understanding how to package our service in a way that gives the client an amazing transformational result and allows us to charge for the package, for the transformation, so that we can take our time out of the equation. That's how we can grow. I'm going to make another training on that later on. How to make more money while working less, because that is really possible. I used to think, let me know if you also have heard this, that it takes hard work to make a lot of money. We have heard that, right? And that was a belief that was so imprinted in my head. So I saw that in my reality. It was really hard. Every time I wanted to make a lot of money, it was a really, really, really hard time. And then I got to realize, that's not the truth at all. We can make so much more money than we ever thought was possible, and we can actually work less. We can work less than 20 hours a week and make more money than we ever did before, which is absolutely incredible. And this is also how we can inspire other people, because if we as healer, coaches, therapists, if we are burned out, how can we help others? We need to serve from a full cup. Exactly what they say in the airplanes. Help, like if an accident would happen, help yourself first with the mask, and then you can help the person next to you. Same thing here. We got to make sure that our life is taken care of, that we feel good in our reality. This is how we can serve the world from overflow. And we want to be in overflow. So this is why we need to understand how to package our service. And the next thing, marketing. I think that many people, they think, I really thought this way, that if I just require a skill and I just get good at helping people, then everything will be solved. But that was not the case. If we don't know how to help people to find us, it's going to be extremely hard to make money from our empathic gifts. we need to understand marketing. And the interesting thing about this was that I thought that this was like rocket science. I thought it was really, really, really hard with marketing. Jonas, my amazing boyfriend, he invested for us. So he's also a coach. He teaches marketing. And I teach the basics of marketing within the Master Manifestor. But Jonas invested in a program for us, which was like 100,000 Swedish SEK a few months back. And that was incredible because when he invested that in the understanding of like leveling up the marketing, there were so many things that shifted in our realities. Because when we understand the marketing behind our services and our products, things are like this is understanding the marketing when we want to make money from our empathic gifts. It's a game changer. We need to understand the marketing. And this is why when I understood that not only was I going to actually give away like the techniques that I have developed through hypnosis and transformation, giving transformation in people's lives, but I also added to the Master Manifestor program, I also added a guarantee to the program, which was that you will have your first paid client within the 91st days. Like, so the program is 90 days. You have lifetime access to the core training. So the core training, which is the online part, you have access to that your whole life. But the group coaching and the clients on the Facebook group, that is like 90 days. So when I added that part, that you were actually going to have your first paid client, so going from green, knowing nothing, to doing everything that I've talked about already in this training, and you do that within 90 days and have your first paid clients within 90 days. And I realized that that requires a level of understanding marketing. And this is why I have also given out in the program templates to follow. Because everything that we have learned, that Jonas and I have learned about marketing, we really want to give that back. So that is a part of the program. And it is really incredible to see for those women who are now in the front of the program, like who have come furthest in the program, they are now using the scripts, they're using the templates, and it's incredible to see how they are now booking calls with potential people just to see if they're a good fit. And like, it's just incredible to witness this amazing transformation that the Master Manifestor clients are going through. And they're really stepping into their power, which is, it warms my heart so much. So that was number 10, to know that we need to understand the marketing side. And the step 11 is learn how to sell without selling. I learned this through the hard way. I really, because I knew that I had been in sales positions before. Who feels that you really like selling? Oh, selling is such a good thing. And no, not really. I was exactly the same. This is why I think this is so important to bring up. Because I had so much resistance regarding selling. And I realized that many people sell in a way that it's not so heart to heart connection based. It's more a pushy form of selling, which is a terrible way of selling. We as humans, we don't like to be sold to, and we as empathic women, we don't like to sell to anybody else. So this is why we need to if we are going to make money from our empathic skills and gifts, we need to understand how to actually sell our service. But we need to do it in a way that feels good to our heart. And we had a full training, like a 1.5 full long training yesterday in the clients only group. We had a group coaching call of how do we sell without selling? How do we tell people what we have to offer without being a sleazy salesperson? And this is so important, because if we can't sell our service, then we don't have a business. simple as that. But when we understand how to sell without ever having to sell, and we do it from a place of really understanding how to show up in this world and connect with people, and to actually be very picky with who we bring on to our programs and services in the first place, is just a different game. It is a different way of living. It is a different way of building our businesses. It's a way that feels so amazing and just true to our heart, because this is so important that it feels true to our heart. Whenever I see a word, like if I have written a text, for example, and I'm like, that word doesn't really resonate with me, then I don't post that until I change that word, because I want to know that everything I say, I want it to be fully transparent. And I want to know that I have an own story connected to everything I tell. I want to make sure that people feel my heart. This is why I never hesitate to show up on camera and cry if I get emotional about something. Like, I really want everybody to feel my truth. And this is so important when we are working in this field and we want to have a big impact on the world and we want to make money from our empathic gifts. We need to understand how to sell without selling. So those are the 11 important steps. It's a transformational journey. This is how the whole Master Manifesto program takes somebody from green, like knowing nothing, like they know, like, I want freedom and I want to make money in a way that feels good to my heart. This is how the whole Master Manifesto program takes women through the whole process, from being green to actually stepping into her own power and transforming people's lives without ever having to sell or being salesy. How does that sound? Amazing? It is a transformational journey, and none of this is going, like, if we are not doing anything, we will be stuck where we are. But if we are deciding, like, I am worthy enough to actually go through a transformation in my own reality, that transformation is available. And I see this over and over and over and over again in so many women's lives. This transformation, if you know that, hey, I am supposed to make money from my empathic gifts, as I said in the beginning, you didn't incarnate here on planet Earth to just have empathic gifts and feel like a bird, like that the gifts were a burden. Because so many women feel that way, that our sensitivity is a burden. And I definitely used to feel that way. But now I know it's my superpower. I feel people, I can see people's power, I can see their potential, and it's just incredible. And I believe that each one of you who are here on the call as well, you have that ability too. You have that ability to make such a big, massive, fat impact in people's lives. You are supposed to do that. That's why you felt called to listen to this, to hear this, to activate something within yourself. So I want you all to know that if you feel, I know that several of you are already clients of the Master Manifesto program, but if you feel that, hey, I wonder, could this process be for me? Maybe you have taken a few steps in the process. Maybe you already have acquired a skill, or maybe you have taken some of the other steps. Maybe you know how to sell without selling or something like that, but you're wondering, like, not really sure about the other steps. So if you would like to see, could this 11-step process actually work for myself where I am at, feel free to send me a message after this call. And just a heads up, if this is, so when we are live today, it is something of December 2023. We are are we 28 today? Okay, thank you. Good that I have people here who knows. So we are on the 28th today. So it's Thursday. Yes, it is Thursday. Okay. So this is how it feels like when we are having a soul-based business. It's like every day is just like Christmas. It just feels amazing. So therefore I'm confused many times. I'm like, what day is this? I don't know. What time is it even? I don't know. But if we are on the 28th today, and if you're hearing this on the 28th, I just want you to know that because the program, the Muscle Manifesto program, it has the value of the program has increased massively over the. So Sophia, who I see here, who has been with me the whole process, you have seen like it's just value over value coming in. So with that also, the price will go up. So I will make an adjustment to the price to be more appropriate to what you're actually getting from the program. So I'll make a price shift at 7 tonight. So if you feel that, I wonder if this could be for me, I want to encourage you to reach out to me. I'm going to go to the gym now with Jonas, but I will be able to kind of check my phone. But if you feel like maybe this could be for me, let's have a chat about it in Messenger and see if you could grab your spot before the price goes up. So the price goes up at 7. So just a heads up to that. So if you're considering like, could this be for me, but maybe I should wait until tomorrow, I would encourage you to reach out today just to kind of secure your spot if that feels right to you. So are there any questions that have come up around this 11-step process? So I see it looks like full clarity, amazing. And if any other questions are popping up or anything like that, feel free to just send me a message. And hey, Camilla, I see that you put on your camera now. Hello. Camilla, let's have a chat also before 7 today so that we can help you get started. Amazing, wonderful. So I'm sending you all so much love, and I'm just so excited for the journey that you all have ahead of you, whether that is together with me in my program or whether that is to do something completely different, whatever feels right to you. I'm just so excited, and I truly hope that it's activated something within yourself. Amazing. Thank you so much. And Michaela, it would also be amazing to have more of a chat with you in Messenger as well. I'm sending you all so much love, and I'm wishing you a super, super beautiful day. Bye. Bye.